he's the pound for pound #1, so it's a tough fight, but guess we'll just watch all his fights again, make a solid game plan, and then just start working at it. From pretty much now, I'm going to start working on.
Already said that. Like, everybody, let's stop sleeping on JDM. You know, this guy is good. So let's stop just thinking, oh, Islam's coming in and Islam's going to take his title and Islam's the new champion. Islam is no small dude. Listen, Islam is not small. Islam will fill out nicely in the welterweight division.
No, and I guess
experts are weighing in on Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena, one of the most intriguing matchups of the year. Kicking things off, Demetrius Johnson shared his enthusiasm for the upcoming bout, calling it a clash he's genuinely excited to witness. He emphasized that Islam has earned this opportunity and noted the stylistic parallels between the two fighters, both dynamic, well-rounded, and technically sound. According to Johnson, fans can expect a high-level display of movement, precision, and elite MMA skills.
Here we go. I do love this. I do respect this about Dana White. He did said that, you know, if Jack Della wins, he will give Islam Makhachev the opportunity to go up and fight for the 170-pound belt, which I think Islam Makhachev has done enough. He's beat Volk twice. He's beat pretty much everybody in the lightweight division. Charles Oliveira, he hasn't fought Justin Gaethje. I think it's time for him to have the opportunity to become a double champ. And I like this fight a lot. I like it a lot because, you know, they both move good on the feet. They both move a lot, body kicks.
Building on that analysis, Johnson went further to dissect the tools each fighter brings to the octagon. He highlighted Islam's reliance on body kicks and dominant jiu-jitsu, while crediting JDM's sharp footwork and crisp striking. Johnson believes their physicality and skill level make this more than just a tactical bout. It's a collision of two powerhouses.
Definitely see Islam go for a double leg takedown, use his judo, his wrestling. And how would Jack Della respond? Jack Della's crisp on the feet as well, with his hands to straight punches. They're both big 170ers, and I'm excited for this fight.
Sharing his own perspective, Jack Della Maddalena didn't shy away from evaluating Islam's skill set. He described Makhachev as a more refined version of Bilal Muhammad, suggesting that Islam's striking is more predictable, though still effective. Despite recognizing the enormous challenge, JDM expressed confidence, saying he plans to analyze Islam's previous performances and devise a surgical game plan for their impending showdown.
I think Islam Makhachev is a better version of Bilal. I think his striking on the feet is I think it's more. I even think it's easier. The striking on the feet, I think it's easier than Bilal because he's more just he'll stay in one stance. He's more traditional style. But yeah, he's the pound for pound #1, so it's a tough fight. But guess we'll just watch all his fights again, make a solid game plan, and then just start working at it. From pretty much now, I'm going to start working on ways to beat him, different ways to get back to my feet, stuff in the takedown. But I'm pretty confident I can get this one done.
To aid in that preparation, Jack revealed that his team intends to reach out to Craig Jones, who was instrumental in Alexander Volkanovski's prep against Islam. This move underscores just how seriously JDM is taking this challenge.
He's prepared for Islam twice, helped Volk out, I believe, that first fight to really stifle his strong suit, which is the grappling. So we'll be using Craig again. He'll be there to help us out for sure.
From the other side, Islam Makhachev's coach, Javier Mendez, acknowledged the uncertainty around whether Jack Della presents a tougher challenge for Islam. For Mendez, the key factor was Islam's determination to take the fight. He expressed confidence that Makhachev will be the superior fighter in this matchup, citing his exceptional skill set and relentless work ethic. Mendez also noted that Islam's style is unlike anything JDM has faced in his previous opponents.
You know, it's hard to say. It's hard to say if he's a harder challenge. You know, I just know Islam wants this one. So for me, that's the challenge I want, you know, and it's the challenge that I know Islam's going to be, you know, supreme over, because I just know his skill set. I know what he brings to the table, and he brings an incredible work ethic along with skill set in every area. So, you know, Islam is a whole different animal than the Jack's ever been involved with. So if that fight does materialize, you know, we're going to see a hell of a fight, and you're going to see Islam perform at an absolute incredible level. And also,
adding a layer of caution, Kamaru Usman urged fans and analysts not to underestimate the Australian champ. He praised JDM's skills and mental composure, pushing back against the narrative that Makhachev will easily claim the welterweight throne. In Usman's eyes, this is an evenly matched and stylistically compelling fight.
Yes, with Islam potentially coming up into the division now, I mean, it throws a wrench into things because, for one, I don't think, like, let's not take anything away from JDM. Like, I've already said that. Like, everybody, let's stop sleeping on JDM. You know, this guy is good. So let's stop just thinking, oh, Islam's coming in and Islam's going to take his title and Islam's the new champion. Let's stop thinking that. I think it's an intriguing fight. I think it's a really, really good fight, and it's a tough matchup for both guys. Now, with Islam coming in, that throws a wrench into where I'm at. It's almost like undercover what everyone's waiting for. You know, Henry, you know, everyone's waiting to really kind of see that fall. Everyone's waiting to say, see, I told you, you're not special. You're not that good. Look at you now, you know? And so, yeah, I know how it feels, and so we both know how it feels, and
sucks, dude. That's like
it's not great, but you know, hopefully.
Meanwhile, according to Henry Cejudo, a potential title shot could be on the horizon for Kamaru Usman, provided he defeats Joaquin Buckley and Islam Makhachev gets past Jack Della Maddalena. However, Cejudo pointed out a significant complication. Usman and Makhachev are close friends. That dynamic, he noted, could stand in the way of the fight materializing, despite it making sense from a competitive standpoint.
But can I tell you something, Kamaru? This is where the wrench is being thrown in. You're boys with Islam, and honestly, I favor Islam in this fight with JDM. Islam defeats JDM. You beat Joaquin Buckley. Oh, I can already see you. You know, getting uncomfortable there, Kush. Are we gonna see a potential matchup with the Nigerian Nightmare and Islam Makhachev?
Whoa! It's one of those things that it's one of those things that we'd have to talk about. Obviously, that's a blockbuster fight. Former pound for pound and the current pound for pound champion. And that's something we'd have to talk about because.
On the other hand, MMA Guru delivered a more contrarian take. While he acknowledged Islam's world-class grappling, he sided with JDM, arguing that Makhachev won't land a meaningful shot due to Jack's elusive defense and high fight IQ. According to Guru, JDM is notoriously hard to rattle or catch clean.
But Makhachev, Della Maddalena, I'm going to go with Della Maddalena here in this matchup. I think JDM wins. I really think he did a lot better against Bilal than people gave him credit for. I'm going to go with JDM over Makhachev. I know Makhachev's got good grappling. So does Bilal. You know, he dominated a lot of opponents on a come up in the welterweight division. I know Makhachev's got decent striking, but I just feel like Makhachev ain't going to land a punch on JDM that gets his reaction. It's so hard to catch JDM with something he never saw coming, with something that's going to shock him enough to wobble him or drop him or make him second guess himself. He's at complete control of not getting hit by those shots.
That said, Guru also pointed out some potential vulnerabilities on JDM's end. He suggested that Islam could exploit Jack's takedown defense with a guillotine choke, an area where Islam has had recent success. Even so, Guru remained skeptical that Makhachev could physically dominate JDM, predicting a gritty back and forth rather than a one-sided onslaught.
So, I'm going to go JDM. I liked his takedown defense against Bilal Muhammad. I could see a problem where maybe in some of the ways that he does stuff takedowns and get back up, there could be a dash choke open for Islam Makhachev. That has been one of his moves that he's been getting recently. So I could see that reality a little bit, but I don't know, man. I think Makhachev is just not going to have this physicality advantage over JDM. He will have a technical skills advantage, but it's going to be hard to dominate with that. I don't see him pinning down JDM for a whole round. I don't see him submitting JDM early in the fight by just being that way better level of grappler than him.
In addition, Michael Bisping commented that Jack Della Maddalena's recent bout served as an ideal warm-up ahead of his clash with Islam Makhachev. According to Bisping, the fight gave JDM valuable cage time and momentum as he prepares to face a highly skilled and dominant opponent in Makhachev at welterweight.
God knows when they do it, but that's going to be the fight. Now, if I'm Jack Della Maddalena, there is no better person to fight. If you're going to go up against Islam Makhachev, there's no better warm-up fight than Bilal Muhammad.
Great. You just went through the same camp all ready to win the belt. You just got to run it all back. Whatever you were doing, just continue to do more of that and start it now.
The point I'm making is that Bilal is, I mean, he was the 170 champ. Islam's the 155 champ. You know, they're very, very close in their abilities. You know, I'm not saying that Bilal would beat Islam, but he was the champion in the weight class above, and they do have very comparable skill sets. So if Jack was able to beat Bilal, there's a really good shot. This isn't like Islam's going to walk up to 170 and just walk through Jack Della Maddalena. This is a real fight.
Similarly, Bas Rutten expressed high regard for Islam Makhachev, describing him as an exceptionally dominant force in the sport. He suggested that Makhachev has the kind of toughness and versatility to realistically consider competing across 3 different weight classes. Rutten highlighted the sheer resilience of certain UFC athletes, particularly those from Dagestan, who he believes consistently showcase a rare level of grit and determination inside the octagon.
It's crazy times right now, right?
It's crazy times, but the guy's a freaking animal, man. So I can do a lot. You know, a guy like that can be the guy who's going to say, I want 3 weight classes. You know, I don't know these fighters anymore, but they're freaking so tough. And I don't know how to make them over there in Dagestan. The thing with Makhachev, it's one of those things that I always have. It's like with Tyson, with every champion who starts going on a freaking tear, you know, can they keep that focus up? Now, the guys in Dagestan, they train different. And I think if you dare slack a little bit in training, that's not going to work, you know. But normally when you're training at a normal training camp, but not everybody is a monster, you might start taking the foot off the pedal. I had a very big problem with that. I had one training partner in pretty much 95% of my career. So that was one guy, and he never submitted me. So it was always like I had to make myself really tired and then let him come after me and hope I could do it like that. But, you know, you're only as good as your training partners, they always say. So the more you have, the better it is. But
moving on, backing that sentiment, Usman also added that Islam isn't undersized for 170 pounds, and he expects Makhachev to comfortably fill out the frame as he transitions into welterweight territory.
I'm bigger. Listen, Islam is no small dude. Listen, Islam is not small. Islam will fill out nicely in the welterweight division.
No, and I guess we'll cross that road when we get there, but it's just things.
However, Guru speculates that moving up to welterweight may impact Islam Makhachev's agility and technical sharpness, which were more pronounced at lightweight. He doubts Islam possesses the striking power to knock out Jack Della Maddalena, predicting instead that the fight will likely end with a late-round TKO victory for JDM, who he believes will wear down Makhachev over time.
I think at welterweight, with all that extra muscle, I don't think he can have the same output. And I just don't think he's all that dangerous with his punches. He's good, but I think this is going to be a good JDM win, late rounds TKO. As soon as JDM was booked against Bilal, I was like, oh my God, he's going to beat Bilal. And then he's going to beat Mac.
Behind the scenes, JDM's manager, Tim Simpson, shared insights into Jack's mindset. He recalled a conversation where Jack expressed a firm belief in his ability to beat Islam. Simpson emphasized that for Jack, this fight isn't about fame or status. It's simply a high-level matchup, one he's fully committed to winning.
Oh, I reckon I can beat Bilal. Like, yeah, he's got the belt, man. Yeah. And he says the same thing about Islam. He's like, I reckon I can beat him. So who am I going to be like, oh, this is a bad idea? Like, I think he's
It's the highest profile fight as well.
Massive.
Yeah.
There's financial benefit to that. There's legacy. He's going to be #1 pound for pound. But more than anything, Jack's like, I reckon I can beat him. So let's go. I feel like it's still, he's a champion, but I feel like he's got nothing to lose.
Right.
You know?
Echoing that optimism, fellow Aussie Robert Whittaker expressed excitement over the matchup. He sees it as a major opportunity for JDM to break through and begin dismantling elite names like Makhachev, potentially launching him into stardom.
Yes, but because I'm pumped to see Islam versus Jack. I love that fight for Jack. I want to see Jack get that opportunity. I want to see Jack given the opportunity to really just start like shutting down stuff.
Looking ahead, MMA Guru believes that if Islam Makhachev falls short against Jack Della Maddalena, he may consider dropping back down to lightweight. There, he could set his sights on a title shot against the winner of the upcoming Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira matchup, aiming to regain momentum in a division where he's more comfortable and proven.
How crazy is that? JDM is now the welterweight world champion, and I think he'll finish Makhachev. And I guess Makhachev will head back down to lightweight to take on the winner of Topuria versus Oliveira too. So we might not get the greatness at the time that we should have got it, but the fights are still gonna happen, I would imagine. So, but if Makhachev wins at 170, I will say this: Makhachev could win. He could just be a different level grappler and get the back of JDM and lightweight skill, and, you know, Belal wasn't that good anyway type narrative comes out, and maybe that is to be true, but I think size does come into factor here quite.
However, MMA Guru added that if Islam Makhachev does manage to pull off a win against Jack Della Maddalena, there's a real chance he might retire soon after. According to Guru, it would not be difficult to make a compelling argument for Makhachev as one of the all-time greats, even with a victory at welterweight. He speculated that Islam isn't the type to linger in the sport, trying to build a narrative around being the GOAT, and may instead choose to walk away at the peak of his accomplishments.
If Makhachev wins this, I reckon he retires. Because it would be hard to have an argument against him being some kind of GOAT, you know, of the sport. And I don't think Makhachev is like, I'm not going to retire until I'm 100% undeniably the GOAT of the sport, no questions asked. I think he's okay to be one of the GOATs of the sport. And if he wins at welterweight right now, he arguably is. He arguably is the top dog. I'd say Natty GOAT because Jones has been tested positive before, but...
Adding to the intrigue, MMA analyst The Weasel weighed in on the welterweight showdown, surprisingly stating that it presents a more compelling matchup than a potential clash between Islam and Ilia Topuria. He highlighted that Islam, being naturally the bigger man, won't struggle to make the 170-pound limit, which adds an intriguing layer to the bout. The Weasel also praised Jack's sharp striking, solid takedown defense, and notable punching power.
Jack Della Maddalena versus Islam Makhachev is such a fascinating fight, and I think it's even better than the Topuria fight for Islam. It's a bigger opponent at welterweight instead of a former featherweight. Islam's also a big guy who can make welterweight, so I like this fight a lot more. Jack has really good striking skills, he has great takedown defense, an amazing ability to scramble, he has good punching power. It's such a good fight. And if he is able to defend takedowns against Belal Muhammad, who trains with Islam, there is something interesting there about him fighting Islam himself, right? He can get past Belal. Can he step up another level and beat the guy who pretty much ragdolls Belal in the training room? So JDM has to fight at another level compared to his performance against Belal Muhammad in order to defeat the pound-for-pound #1 fighter in the world.
However, Chael Sonnen voiced his lack of enthusiasm for the matchup between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della, claiming that fans aren't particularly interested either, speaking candidly, describing it as the kind of favor that requires serious pulling of strings just to get made, let alone headline a card. According to Sonnen, the current buzz doesn't reflect the level of anticipation typically needed for a high-profile bout.
Got Islam versus Jack, and what a difference. I mean, what do you guys think of that fight? You want to get into that? You want to go back and forth? Now, I realize you're not excited for the fight. I get it. I'm not excited for it either. But that doesn't mean it's not a great fight, right? Those are two very different conversations. And would we have cared about that fight if Islam moved up? Belal was hurt, so we're just gonna go Islam versus Jack. We'll put the belt up, we'll put up an intra belt, whatever it is, we're gonna solve the belt problem, we're gonna make it a big fight. But it's going to be Islam versus Jack.
Nevertheless, Demetrius Johnson predicts the highly anticipated bout between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena will likely take place at Madison Square Garden later this year. He noted that after JDM's recent title fight against Belal Muhammad, the Australian champ will need ample time to recover from the damage sustained. Johnson suggested a 2 to 3 month rest period before the fight is scheduled, pointing to a probable matchup in the latter part of the year once Della Maddalena is fully healed and ready.
If I had to guess, this fight will probably take place at MSG. Reason why I say that is because you have Jack Della who just fought. He's pretty banged up. So let's give him 2 months to recover. That puts us in May, June, July. Okay, July. Then you have, I would like Jack Della to get at least 3 to 2 months to prepare for this fight. So July, August, September, October, November 5th is right when they're going to do it. So if I had to say it, they'll probably put this fight on next to hopefully John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. If I had to guess, this is going to be MSG, Madison Square Garden. That's when this fight's going to happen. But I'm very happy that they have decided to give Islam Makhachev the opportunity to fight for the 170-pound stripe.
As the MMA world buzzes with anticipation, Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena is shaping up to be one of the most intriguing showdowns of the year, with legends, analysts, and fighters offering contrasting takes. The stakes have never been higher. Whether it ends with a crowning moment or a career-defining upset, one thing is certain. This is a clash fans won't forget. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you never miss a beat, and we will see you next time with more exciting updates.